Can you guys see that?
Yes, the presentation.
Get out and vote.
I
Nope.
think no, just
Yeah,
the
I don't think
presentation.
it's sharing. Okay. Yeah, it didn't come in to the presentation, so we're gonna stop that. That was folly on my part. So let me get the presentation back here. Okay, all right, we're gonna get going here. Sorry for that delay and that side trip there. But this is the free rides to the polls training for our virtual call center. And what we're going to be doing today, first of all, again, I do want to welcome all of you to the training and thank you for taking your time on a Saturday. I know there's a lot you could be doing. It's certainly warmer here in New Jersey. I'm assuming it's warmer there in Milwaukee than we've seen over the past few weeks. So again, thank you for joining us this Saturday. So today we want to introduce you to Souls to the Polls, what our group is about. And we want to talk about the free rides program and kind of give you a background on that. Talk about the phone system that we use, how we book our rides and take people to the polls that should be taking to the polls. And then explain the war room that you're going to hear quite a bit about. Give you some important dates for other training and technical support. And then a new scheduling system that we're just introducing this for this election. And we really want your feedback on that. So we're going to talk about that. And then we'll have time at the end for questions and answers. So that's our agenda for today. So just a little bit about Souls to the Polls. In this presentation, you'll see access to our website, to our Facebook page. If you haven't gone on the website or the Facebook page, you may want to take a look at those things to give you a little better sense of who we are as an organization. And Dave, can you tell from your end that we are recording? I did hit the record. I heard recording.
Yes, it is recording. It is
Okay,
recording.
good, good. Yeah, just want to make sure that we have the presentation for everyone. So, Souls to the Polls started in 2013, and actually, one of the Rights program is a flagship of Souls to the Polls because when the organization first started, um, one of the things that they did very early on was offer rides to the polls. So they would gather at a church and gather a few volunteers that would go out and take people to the polls. So I'll describe how that's changed over the years, but that's kind of how it started. And the term "souls to the polls" is actually rooted in civil rights history. It goes back to the 60s, that term, souls to the polls, which means, again, that people back in the 60s would gather. It was, dangerous to vote, particularly in the South. This is a tradition that started in the South. And so people would gather at the church and they would go as a group on a Sunday go as a group to vote. So, uh, as a result sort of that history and our mission, our focus is on turning out African American and Hispanic voters. These are groups that don't vote in the power of their numbers. And so what we want to do is establish that muscle of civic engagement of which voting is a critical part of. We are a nonpartisan organization, a 501(c)(3), and we'll talk a little bit about that. We emphasize advocacy. So, again, advocating for free, fair, and open elections, certainly advocating for more civic involvement, advocating around issues that impact the community, and educating on how elections and voting are critical to getting done things that we need done for the community. So whatever it is that's your concern in your community, understand that it's probably is attached to an elected official making some decision about that issue or that problem. And if you don't have people that represent you, then the issues that you care about may not be addressed. So that's kind of the education that we try to engage in. Now, our goal with the free rides program is to provide free transportation. We do that for any voter who wants a ride to and from a voting site. We start for early voting and then we continue on the last day of voting, which is election day. As a nonpartisan organization, we're grassroots funded. We get funding from some foundations. But our motto is we don't take sides, we just give rides. So we're not asking people who they're voting for, who their candidate is. We're just giving rides. So again, as a nonpartisan organization, regardless of the person's political affiliation, they can get a ride with us. And it's really important to stay in that nonpartisan lane to protect our 501(c)(3). And of course, what the 501(c)(3) allows is that when we get donations from individuals, it's tax deductible. There are certain foundations that will only fund organizations that are 501(c)(3), which means they're education and advocacy. They're not partisan. So we're not advocating for any particular candidate, only focusing on the issues. So when you're talking to someone on the phone, when you're out poll driving, we avoid discussing specific candidates, which can get heated, intense to begin with, depending on who the person may be supporting. And so we try to direct them to issues, or we can also direct them to official resources for information if they're asking you. So if they're asking, who should I vote for, then you're saying, reach out to the League of Women Voters or something, or reach out to the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or whatever. But you're not, able to discuss who they should or should not vote for. What is the free rides program? Well, the iteration of the program that we are currently operating today came out of the pandemic of 2020. And if you remember, during the pandemic, everything was shut down. Everyone was staying at home. And we were really concerned at that time. We knew it was an important election, that we wanted to engage people in the election, and we wanted to offer rides, but how could we do that safely? So what we set up rather quickly at the time was a virtual operation. And we partnered with Lyft and Uber at the time to do the actual driving. And we did that because we didn't want to put volunteers in harm's way by putting them out there without proper protection. But we knew companies like the rideshare programs had safety protocols that they had put in place, that they had trained their drivers around, and we felt they could keep both themselves and our voters safe. So we partnered with them. Now, I'll tell you, since then, the laws have changed, and you're no longer allowed to pay for people to or pay anyone to give you a ride to the polls or to give people rides to the polls. So we would not be able to do now what we did in 2020. And that's why our volunteer base is so critical. This program could not operate without volunteers willing to drive people to the polls. So that's sort of where we are now. But we still maintain our virtual aspect to the program, and that's in the virtual call center. So drivers need the support of schedulers who are going to actually book those rides from voters and then pass that information along to them. And so that's what the job is of the virtual call center. So one of the jewels that we have now is because we've done this for so long, we've got a list of over 1,000 people that we've already provided rides to. So we can reach out to that list. That's our first order of business, is to reach out to that group and say, are you aware that there's an election coming? We've offered you a ride in the past. Can we schedule you now for your ride during early voting? We try to stress early voting as much as possible so people can get it out of the way. And then they're not left for a rainy day on election day or a snowy day as a potential that may keep them from voting, because that's their last chance. So if we can get them into early voting, that's what we try to do. So we book rides for voters. We take calls. We've got a hotline that you'll learn about where people can call us to get a ride, or we're going to make outbound calls where we're going to actually call them to set up those rides. When we miss a call that's recorded, we can get a voicemail, and we can return those missed calls and follow up to say you reached out to us. We're sorry we missed your call. Can we schedule you for your ride now? So, we want to answer. When we're making these calls, even if we don't give the person a ride, they may say, well, I've got my own ride, I can get there. But they may not even know that there's an election. So giving out that information is huge to let them know there is an election, when it is, to answer questions around the early voting, poll locations, or how they vote on election day. Our drivers provide the rides to voters. We give them information as to the name of the voter, their telephone number, so that they can contact the voter to say, I'm your driver. I'll be there in 20 minutes or whatever the turnaround will be. And they can go out and pick up the voter, take that individual to their polling site, and then they're going to drop them usually back at their homes. Now, if the person, say, it gets picked up in the morning, in fact, one of the things that we want to say to young people is that you can get a ride to school on election day. So if you're a student at MATC or you're a student at UWM and you normally take the bus, well, during the voting season, you could get a pickup to take you. Now, you got to be going to vote, but if you're going to vote, we can pick you up at home, take you to your polling location, you can vote, and we'll drop you at school. So we don't have to drop them back at home. We can drop them at school. Now, we're not going to pick someone up in Milwaukee and drop them in Racine or anything. So, there's some limitations to how far, we can go. But 90% of the time, they're picking people up and taking them back home. But we can pick them up, drop them at work if they need to, and that's in a reasonable distance, or we can drop them at school. We can drop them at a grocery store if they, want to be dropped there, but we're not going to be waiting for them. So we can't take them to, if they say, well, I'm going to do some shopping before I go home. Can you wait for me at the grocery store? No, I can't do that. But if you want to be dropped at the grocery store and it's nearby, then they can do that as well. So those are some of the things that you should be aware of and that you can share with voters. So operationally, what my work is, what Dave, who you'll meet coming up, his work is to keep this system running, to provide you with the support that you need, the training. So we've added tech sessions in addition to the overall training. We can do tech sessions because, what you want are the essentials. You want to know how to answer the phone, how to book a ride, and how to get that ride to the poll driver. And so those are the things that we can cover in the tech session to be very focused on, you know, the operational aspect of this. And so we want to resolve any questions, that you may have. You all will get access to a Google Drive, and in that Google Drive, we will have the links to our different systems. We'll have your call list in that drive, polling locations in that drive. And we also work with a volunteer who has a disabled van, that wheelchair accessible van, that she takes individuals that need a wheelchair. So when you're booking your rides, you're booking rides for ambulatory people. Well, you're booking both, but your ambulatory voters will go out on the system, the dispatch system, to the drivers in their cars. So individuals who go in a car need to be able to get in and out of that car on their own. They, can get slight assistance, and they can certainly have a wheelchair, not a wheelchair. They can have a walker or a cane for the cars. But if they're in a wheelchair, they're going to need a van for that. So if you get someone who calls for that, what you want to do is get their information and pass that on to that van driver, and she will actually make those arrangements. So in your Google Drive, you'll have a sign-up sheet where you would put that information that you got a call from an individual. She's in a wheelchair. Can you call her and schedule the ride? So you're not going to schedule that on your system. You're just going to take that information, let them know that someone will call them back. And yes, we can help them, but they'll get a call back to set up that ride. Okay. So again, I kind of talked through the role of the scheduler is the schedulers again are virtual volunteers. So you can schedule rides from any place in the country. We have volunteers from all over. That's why I asked where you're calling in from, because we've got volunteers from all over the country, because you're going to be working at home in your own personal space using your own personal equipment. You're going to need a computer for this, because your taxi caller and your Telsio system works better from a computer. So we're going to ask you to use a computer for that. You can use your phone for the war room, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But you're going to be booking rides and taking your calls from your computer. You're going to make outgoing calls to schedule rides during early voting, and we don't get a lot of calls in for early voting where people are actually calling us from outside. That's mainly on election day when we're getting a lot of calls, and we can be slammed with a lot of calls on election day. But during early voting, the calls are pretty low, which is why making those outgoing calls are so critical, because again, that allows us to fill up our schedule so our poll drivers know that there's something to do when they sign up for a particular day. So you want to confirm and update polling locations with the My Vote system. I'll talk a little bit about that system and what that does. And the My Vote is really used for the election day polling sites, because early voting, there are very specific polling sites. You'll have, again, in your Google Drive, not only the name and location of those polling sites, but you'll also have the times that they're open, because different polling sites are open at different times for early voting. But an individual can vote at any of those sites. So you can live on the south side, and if you work on the north side, you may vote on the north side. You can live on the north side and maybe you need to vote on the south side or someplace. At any of those sites, you're allowed to vote during early voting. It's only on election day where you have to vote at your precinct polling location. The role of the driver, again, drivers use their personal vehicles and their personal cell phone with taxi caller. So they're trained on an app on their phone, and that's where you're sending that information to them for those voters' locations and their polling locations. They receive that information on an app that they're all trained to use. And they're offering door-to-door round trip. And I explained that door-to-door is usually dropping them back at home, but sometimes it may be dropping them at another nearby location other than home. They're handling specific needs of their passenger. So if someone has mobility issues, they can support them to a degree, but they do need to be ambulatory. So if they've got a cane or a walker, they still have the ability to get in and out of a car. Now, you'll also learn in terms of scheduling, and the drivers will as well, is that individuals can vote from their car. So just say if a person has a mobility issue, they may be fine getting out to your car, but they may not want to get out and actually go to inside to vote and stand in line and wait and whatever they have to do. So in that case, all polling sites are supposed to accommodate individuals who need to vote from their car. So they're all supposed to be able to do that. Now, if there's any problems there, and there have been in the past where you got individuals saying, "Oh, I don't have anyone I can send out, to the car." No. There's no. What do you mean? You come out. Somebody comes out, right? If you encounter that, then you need to call us and report it, and we'll call election protection so that someone will go out and resolve that situation. But that doesn't happen often. But it certainly has happened, and it could happen. But all of the sites are supposed to be able to accommodate individuals who need to vote from their vehicles. So what does our operation look like? What is actually the free rides system, and particularly what does the call center entail? So the call center, as I explained, we have a hotline. The hotline is operated by a program called Telsio. We need to find polling locations to send individuals to their correct polling locations. Even when a person tells you, "Oh, I've always voted at so-and-so library." Oh, that's great. Let me confirm that. So, because polling sites can change without notice. So even individuals who think that they know, and they usually do, but you don't want to take the chance that a polling site may have changed and the individual is incorrect. So you just drop in the address that they've given you, and it'll tell you, My Vote will tell you what the polling location is for that particular election. So for the current election coming up, you want to identify the current polling sites for that election. Then another system that we use is called Taxi Caller. And Taxi Caller is the shared system that both the virtual center uses and the drivers use. they just use different portions of that system. So for the call center, you're using the dashboard. So the dashboard is where you're going to enter the information that to book that ride. A lot of well, most of the time, rides go out automatically. Once the time comes around for that ride, a voter to be picked up, that's going to ping automatically to a phone that's in the field at the time. But you're going to put that information into the dashboard. At the other end of the taxi caller is the application or a phone app part, and that's what the drivers will be using. So when you're setting up, you're going to open up on your computer your Telzio to make calls or to receive them, your My Vote to check polling locations, and your taxi caller to book and schedule those rides. And then there's, let me get this out of the way here. Then there's another piece that we just started this term that I explained to you, is a platform called Sign Up. And Sign Up is where you will establish your schedule and shifts. So in the past, we were doing this with a Google spreadsheet where individuals would enter their data and we would put them on a Google spreadsheet. But knowing what your schedule is when you actually signed up to volunteer. So give you an example. You could sign up today or tomorrow, when you want to volunteer for next week or for the week of the 16th is when we start, or through April 3rd, which is the early vote period, or you may sign up on election day. But if you sign up today or tomorrow, in a week or two, you might forget what, days you signed up, what hours you signed up, and you want to check that. So what would usually happen with that spreadsheet is I would get a call or an email from someone saying, I signed up, but I don't know what my schedule is. Or, oh, I need to change my schedule because, something has come up. And so I would be going back and forth trying to do that. And when we're really busy, we're not always able to stay on top of that in a timely way. So what we wanted to do was give yourselves access to your scheduling operations so that you could both see what your schedule is, make any changes to it at will, and then on the back end, we would receive that information. So I could go in for a particular day and I could see, are you on the schedule or not, or who's on the schedule? And if that changes, I'm not going to be making those changes, but those changes are going to be made by you, and I will see that information. So that's what our sign up does. And we're going to need your feedback because it's a new system. And if it doesn't solve the problem or it adds to our problem, then it's not good for us, right? Because what we want to do is be problem solvers for you to be sure that you have what you need to make your jobs as simple and straightforward as possible. So that's how that works. Now, again, our goal is to enable you as a volunteer with our training, provide you information. So we're going to, we may throughout the process be adding things to your Google Drive and alerting you that there may be a map in there, say that could be helpful. Or there could be, change in locations or any number of things that may be happening throughout the process. We want to make sure that information is included in your Google Drive, so you have easy access to information, easy access to resources, so that you're as confident as possible in doing your job in answering questions that voters may pose for you, and also to have access to someone, to ask a question if you need to. At any given time. So the desired voter experience is to, make that experience as efficient as possible. You're the face of the operation. So whether you're on the phone as the face of it, or whether you're in a car, you're the face of it. So people are going to trust us and trust the process based on how they trust you. So if you're confident in your work and you have what you need, that's going to build confidence and trust in the voter that this is a system they can rely on. So we want to give rides successfully. We want to support the drivers. We want to support our volunteers in the call center, and we want to make this operation as safe as we can, so that you can promote our services with confidence. Now, just a quickie overview of the Telsio system. Okay. Telsio, again, is our virtual system. You can see the link to Telsio here in the PowerPoint. You'll have access to that. So if you have been here before, if you've been in the call center, if you set up on Telsio, you could probably go there and enter, right now if you wanted to. It might even have retained your login information. If it didn't retain it, but you have access to your password, you could still log in. If you don't have access to that, or you're new to the system, then we set you up with a login, and then you are sent an email directly saying that you've been assigned. Click the login information and set up your password. So you set up your own password that gives you access to Telsio via an email instruction. And once that password is created, as I said, you can log in at will. The taxi caller is rather similar in that we have a website that you go to and you enter login information. So your login information is your company ID, which is Souls in small case, your username, which is your first name underscore last name. Your first name and last name are both capitalized. Now, the only exception to this username setup with the first name underscore last name is that it has to be your first name and last name combined have to be at least 5 or 6 characters. I think it's 6 characters. So if you had a very short first and last name where it wouldn't add up to 6 characters, then we might have to add something to your login so you can access it. So we might say, Rosie 2 or Rosie 1 or something that would add another character that would give us that those 6 characters minimum that we need. And so we'll let you know when that happens. The password that you're going to be using, you can see there at the bottom, capital S, small t, capital P, 2023. So we haven't changed that date, but it's not wrong. That's the password, 2023. And what people usually miss when they call us and say, I couldn't get in, they forget the exclamation point at the end. So it's capital S, small t, capital P, 2023, exclamation point is your password to get access to the taxi caller system. This gives you just a couple of examples of what you're going to see in those systems. In your taxi caller, this is where you're going to enter your information. When the cars come on, you can see them on a map here. You can see how many cars there are for any given time. And I think this is a yeah, this looks like a booking. This is it, well, it is. Yeah, it's an overview. So when you enter, when you the group enters your information for voters, you can go to an overview and you can see all of those um, entries here. So you can see how many people, have signed up. So that's always nice to see how that fills up, and you know that people are signing up to get rides. This is a, a YouTube presentation, and good, I can click on that. I am not going to go through this entire thing. It's 25 minutes, but I just want to give you a sense of why we did this and what this is about. But this gives you the very specifics from start to finish of what you're going to need in order to get set up for your day. So we start at the wait a second here. You guys see that toggling, right? You see that? Okay. So what I would be instructing you to do is your desktop. So again,
Norma, we just see the presentation.
You don't see the video?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, all right. Well, let me just I'll just take that down and walk through it. Okay. So anyway, when you get your PowerPoint presentation, click on this link here. It'll take you to a YouTube video, and that YouTube video will tell you, how to open up your desktop, what systems that you need to have on your desktop. It'll give you some idea of the order that we suggest you open those systems. And so you maintain those systems. So you want to maintain access to your phone in case you get a call. And if you're making calls, so you can make calls between waiting for calls. And then you want to have access to your My Vote system, primarily for election day. Although if someone asks, I'm not sure if I'm still registered, you can also check their registration to confirm whether or not they are through that My Vote system. But then you're going to also have this taxi caller system open. So when you get someone who wants to book a ride, you have it available right there at your fingertips where you can enter that information. So this video is going to walk you through all of those steps in excruciating detail on how you're going to do that. So some of the tips for the call center: open your necessary tabs on your browser, as I described. Prepare all of your systems before setting up your availability and Telsio. And the reason you want to set these other systems up first is that you don't want to get a call in the middle of opening up your taxi call or in the middle of setting up your My Vote. So, because once you set up your Telsio and you put yourself as available, then calls can come in anytime, and you want to be prepared and ready for that. We want to talk to you also about the importance of the war room for support and how that factors into your experience. Uh, you're going to use the same Zoom link for the war room for each shift. So keep that handy so that you can go refer to that when you need. And as I had explained, the recording session that we're preparing for this training will be sent to everyone, so you can refer back to it if needed. So what is the war room? Well, the war room is our gathering space. It's our virtual gathering space. So, and you don't have to stay connected to the war room. You could check in if you want to, or you could go straight to your work. But you'll find it helpful when you're sitting at home alone. So you're sitting there at your desk, at your computer, everything is open, and you're kind of ready to go. And let's just say the first call you get asked you a question you can't answer. And it's like, well, I'm not sure about that. Well, if you're can get your link to your Zoom, you can open it up and you can get into a space where there may be someone there, will be someone there who can help you. Now that someone can be myself or it could be Dave, but it also could be another volunteer because other volunteers have a lot of information. So you don't have to limit your request for information to the two of us, but you may ask other volunteers that could be on that link and would be right there at your fingertips, and you'd be able to resolve the issue that has come up quickly. So the purpose of that is to ensure that drivers and call center participants are not working alone. You don't want you to ever feel that you are alone, that there's always someone there in the background that you can call on for support. If something happens to your system or you just forgot some process, there's someone right there who can help you with that. So we're available for troubleshooting and whatever assistance might be needed. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have Dave come on. Are you all set, Dave, at your location?
Yeah, I'm here, and so if you don't mind keeping it up on your computer there,
Okay,
I
sure. And
can
I
just
can
yeah.
also toggle through the slide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So, as Norma mentioned, we've heard feedback from the volunteers over the last several elections of having a better way to manage the schedules, and this is equally as a big interest for Norma and I too, especially Norma, because this has been just as you can imagine, in some elections, if we have 100 volunteers managing everyone's time, it can be difficult. So um, we've looked at different options out there. From what our research was, that this signup.com seems like it's a good application. It's very much geared towards charity, school, nonprofit work, and where volunteers are coming in to sign up for a variety of things. So it seems like it was designed, with some intention or similar to our purposes here. But as Norma said, like this is our first time using it, and so we're optimistic that this will be a better process. But I know many of you are, most of you are first time, volunteers. So you'll have a fresh perspective to let us know if this, if the feedback of if this works or not. So one thing that you might not have noticed, but I put in the chat two links. One is for the call center, and the other one is a poll driver sign up sheets. And we'll share this all after the meeting. The call center sign up sheet is actually a link in the presentation that Norma will share as well. So all of this is will be at your disposal. But when you click on the link, you're going to be taken to some landing page like this, where basically you just scroll down and you're going to see all the shifts that are going to be available every single day, and how many people volunteers we're looking for with each shift, and how many have already signed up. And so all that you need to do is just click on select sign up for a shift. Now, Norma, if you go to the next slide, when you click on one shift, what it's going to ask you is two specific questions here. One is which training session are you signing up for? And so since you've already participate in this session, you can just, that first question, just say not applicable. But then the second one, which is important, is like, what is the tech session? And think of these tech sessions as more of like a little bit of like office hours where Norm and I will be on the Zoom call, and we'll just get everyone kind of make sure you can get into your accounts, and that you have some confidence of like, where do you need to, what do you need to log in? What are the things that you need to have at your disposal to start a shift? We'll also on your first shift help you out with that as well. But the tech sessions is just one more step in the process to get you comfortable with it. So after you pick, as I said, your first schedule that you would be signing up for, pick not applicable for the virtual training for the call center, and then pick the tech section that you want to that works with your schedule. And then if you see down below, there's actually, Norma, if you maybe go to the next slide there too. At the after you've done all that, you could either you'll save and be done, or there's a way you go back and actually pick more sign up sessions. So this is one of the Norma and I sort of identify this as one of the, maybe not the ideal part of the flow of this, is that ideally, if you picked all your sessions and then you sort of confirm it, in this way, sign up doesn't work that way. You got to pick like one at a time. So you're just going to kind of pick one, confirm it, then go back and add another shift and kind of keep doing that loop. Now, we've had several volunteers already sign up for multiple shifts, so it seems like people have been able to understand this process. But I just want to give everyone sort of a heads up that like you can pick one shift at a time, and then you confirm it, and then you can go back and add more shifts, and you just do one at a time that way. And then normally if you go to the next page, then what'll happen is in your email, you'll get an email confirmation where you can add your shift to your calendar if you want, but then also it's going to give you the key information of where it's just one more source where like you can get the Zoom a link to the war room. We'll also embed the taxi caller link for your reference and the Telzio link for your reference. So you'll get this in your inbox so that, and you can save it into your calendar. So if you're getting ready to, start your shift and you're like, where are all these links? You can always refer back to these emails, or if you saved it to your calendar as well. And then normally if you go to one more, if you need to change your shifts, that's also equally as easy. You just go into, if you click on the sign up sheet list in the email confirmation, there's also a link that says, change, modify your schedule. You'll be taken to this page here, which is the same thing as the original calendar of like, here's all the days, here's all the shifts, who signed up. But then you can filter on show my spots, and then it'll say, you see in the bottom right there'll be a blue button of like my spots, and then all you need to do is click on edit, and then you can either cancel that or you can change the dates and times for it. So it should be fairly self-explanatory of once if you think you can volunteer, say for the 3rd, and it turns out something came up in your schedule and you need to change that to the 29th or whatever, that's totally understandable, and you would just come in here and just manage that change yourself there. So I think with this, probably if you wanted to, you could click on these links from the chat, especially the one on the virtual call center, and just see if you had any initial questions or if there's anything that pops up for you to on your screens that you're not sure of. With Taxi Caller and Telsio. Normally, the process is what Norma will, and I will follow is once we see who's attended this training, we'll make sure that we set up accounts for you in those two systems, and you'll get email confirmations from Telsio, and then Taxi Caller. We'll take care of that here today, and so it should be in your if you've signed up for a shift. I'll say once you sign up for a shift, we'll see it and we'll add you into Taxi Caller. So that's how those two accounts will work for you.
So any question, has anyone signed up yet for through the sign up? Has anyone used it yet? Nope. Okay, well, that's understandable. But yeah, so if you want to click on now, David said he's got
I
them
have,
in the
I signed up, Norma.
Oh, and who is that?
Marilyn.
Oh, Marilyn.
I
Okay.
signed, I signed up for some driver shifts already.
Oh, okay. And what did you think?
I thought it was, and if I'm saying it's simple, it's simple.
Okay.
It's very workable. You know, I love it. And it's, I love it that it's flexible. You can go back and sign up for more time or take something off. So,
Good, good.
very good, good, good addition to the process.
Well, happy to hear that feedback, Marilyn. Thank you so much. Okay, so today or tomorrow, if you guys want to just go in and, you're not going to break anything. Uh, so just try it out and see what you think, and if you can sign up, do so. And the deal is that until you put yourself on a shift, we can mark you as attended a training, but we can't you know, expect that you're going to be actually joining us to volunteer until and unless you tell us what date you're going to do that and what time you're going to do that. Now we've got them set up for 4-hour shifts. So we do ask that everyone sign up for at least one. If you're going to volunteer, sign up for at least one 4-hour shift. But if you can do more than one, we certainly would appreciate that. Now, the important dates I wanted to tell you, there are these virtual tech session dates, and as Dave described, it's sort of like office hours where you can come in. So let's say you go in, you get your email, and you sign up for Telsio. You sign up for Taxi Caller, but you get inside there and you feel a little shaky. I don't know if I feel as comfortable as I want to feel in using these systems. Let me go into a tech session and have them answer my questions. So we're just down to really trying to answer questions, trying to walk through the systems very focused so that you can see how things work and you can resolve any issues that you might encounter. So take these, well, you'll get this presentation, look at these dates, and if you can, sign up or come to one of those sessions, do so. So we're at the end of our formal presentation. Do you guys have any questions? Did something come up during the process here that you'd like more explanation about? Max, are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I show something here? If everybody can see it. I got this, I just remembered as we were meeting here. This is from the Justice Project Action, and it's a nonpartisan voter guide
Mm-hmm.
for this election. And this came in the mail.
Oh, well, hey, put that information in the chat there, the group that you got it from. Because that's yeah, you said it's non-part, so it's just telling people about the candidates or something, right?
Yeah, and so I'm gonna bring this in the car. So if anybody I can hand this to somebody and they can easily compare the candidates without me saying anything.
Okay. Yeah,
So I'll
good.
put it in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to check them out because maybe we can get some. Anyone else with questions?
Well, I guess I'll just double check. So I will, after this meeting, I'll get an email with a Google Drive where I can look at these slides and follow the YouTube links, and then I'll sign up for a shift, and then I'll get an email with my login for Tellsville. Is that the right set of steps?
Okay. And now, Marilyn, have you ever worked in the call center or have you just done driving?
Just driving.
Okay, so and that's what you're planning to do this time, just drive.
Yes.
So, are the rest of you here for driving also, or are you here for the to work in the call center, to work virtually?
I'm here for both of us, whatever.
You want to do both? Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, then make sure you're at the training next Saturday with Dave, who's going to talk in more detail about the pole driving. So he'll go over that. Polly, are you here for the call center?
No, for the driving. I think I
Okay.
maybe came to the wrong one, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all good. It's good
Yeah,
information.
good. Yeah. You got some overview here and you get some things repeated, but pretty much it's going to be focused on what you need to know about the application that you're going to use for driving. And Aaron,
Looks like she said call center.
she did say call center.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Max, just to your question, I think if you can, if you're interested and sign up for ships, then once we see that, we'll send you over the accounts, and then we'll go from there. I think and the tech session would be probably the next step from there.
Okay, so I'll sign up for shifts, and then I'll just check my email for the next couple of days.
All right,
Great.
thanks. And this is just more of a request for anyone that's on the call center, but if we can, we do need volunteers for that first week of starting the 16th. And as Norma mentioned, one of the true, I think, assets of what we've built here over the last several years is over 1,000 voters who we've given rides to, and many of them multiple rides. So we really want to start getting outreach to them, and some of them will do early voting, but some will just like to pre-schedule their election day ride. And so as soon as we can get engagement with that 1,000+ list, that also gives us a sense of how many more volunteers we might need. So we have a pretty good sense of how many people just show up on election day, but if we pre-schedule a certain amount, then we can Norma and I can plan for the number of drivers over the coming weeks in a better way as well.
Yeah, and also, if you can share our information with your network that we're looking for volunteers, that would really help us out because, the thing I always worry about in every election is that, driving is so sexy, right? That we get a lot of people signing up for driving. But the deal is they can't drive if we don't have people going to the polls. So we got to have voters scheduled in order for the drivers to have something to do. And that's why the role of those working in the call center is so critical for that. So yeah, we're gonna need to, really shake the bushes to try to get the people we need to help us out in the call center. So if you can share that information with us, or if you got a group or something that you want me to reach out to, then let me know that as well. And I'm certainly very happy to follow up in any way. Okay. So, and that group, for some reason here, my copying, it's called the Justice Project Action. Is that the name of it, Marilyn? Yeah, I think it's the Justice Project Action. So I'll try following up with them. If there are no more questions, I think we're finished with this session. And again, come around for the tech sessions. I'll give you the presentation. If you want to go back through that, pick up some things you might have missed. I will get those of you who are set up for the, in fact, let me just be sure that each person who's going to do the call center, put your name in the chat and just say call center or VCC. Because I only want to sign you up to Telsio if I absolutely know that you're going to be doing the call center. If you're going to be doing the pole driving and you're coming to that training next week, then I don't need to sign you up for our Telsio system. And I don't want to sign up people who are not planning to do that. So right now, I only have Max doing the call center. No one else here will be doing the call center. Is that correct?
Aaron had said earlier as well.
Oh, Aaron. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll have to find. Okay, so Aaron and Max for the call center.
Oh, and Barbara.
Barbara O'Leary?
Yep.
Okay, I see Barbara's on here, but okay. All right, so I've got Barbara, Aaron, and Max for the call center. Okay. All right, no other questions?
That next meeting for the tech training, is there a Zoom link for that, or will that come now, or how do I get the right link for that?
Can you, Max, I'm having a real tough time understanding you.
Great.
But Max, I could hear you. So it's the same link as today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that works. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay, guys. Well, listen, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And thank you so much for joining us today. We so appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.